to the History of Jackson podcast presented by Past and Present Media. Today, we are talking to historian and author Paul Ballard-Whyte. How are we doing, Paul?
Thank you, Jackson. Yes, I'm well, thank you. Absolutely fine on this sunny winter's morning. Yes, very nice. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you on the podcast. I've really enjoyed your book here, Lucky Hitler's Big Mistakes. Firstly,
yes.
Thank you to Pen and Sword for sending me a copy. So I wanted to ask you, Paul. This is a very interesting topic, and it's a perspective of looking at Hitler that not a lot of historians have looked at before.
Yes.
What was your inspiration for writing this book?
Well, I think really from about 15 years of teaching the subject is probably where it came from. I covered it in so much detail and I was teaching the students about it, that I found myself actually saying to them, he was very lucky here, he was very lucky there. It accumulated in my mind. I said it quite a lot on a lot of different occasions. And that's really how it came about. It just struck me that over a long period of time, Adolf Hitler, things that happened to him were sheer luck. We imagine that because he became the leader, that he created everything, but in actual fact, most of the events that surrounded him had nothing to do with him, but they played into his career, so to speak, and his build-up of popularity. Things happened he had nothing to do with. So, that's luck. And of course, that's really the first part of the book. Half of the book is based on luck. We can talk a bit more about luck in a minute, right?
So when we're talking about luck and Hitler and him, a lot of things being out of his control, did Hitler himself actually believe in the concept of luck?
Well, that is actually a good question, because he, in a matter of translation from German in a way, because he didn't really use the word directly translated as luck. What he did was quite a lot, was the word providence. Now, by any accounts, providence is chance. It is a form of luck. It's a bit more spiritual, and I think he possibly thought himself to be a messianic visitor to planet Earth, and so events that happened for him were meant to happen because it was him. So that's providence. But so, although he didn't say luck himself, he did use it. For example, he said here, for example, if providence, I think by that he meant luck. If providence had not guided me, I would never have founded these successful paths. And he also said later on, he said that I go the way providence dictates, with the assurance of a sleepwalker. So he obviously was fully aware things were happening to him that weren't exactly in his control.
It's really interesting, seeing those Hitler's use of the word providence and how he's come to recognize the role that providence is playing within his own life. Now, within your book, you chart Hitler's life, and the role of luck or providence and mistakes in his life. And one crucial moment of that for Hitler was his joining up of the Nazi Party. So where did Hitler's relationship with the party begin?
Well, really, it began immediately after the end of the First World War, because Germany was obviously defeated in 1918, and the whole country was in turmoil. The government was not settled. It wasn't powerful, and people were on the streets, forming one group after another, left wing, right wing, with all sorts of ideas. And actually, he had been in the First World War. We'll go back to talk about that in a minute. But when he came out, he was immediately recruited by an army officer responsible for looking into the sorts of problems that were going on in the streets. And he was just simply recruited as a spy. And his job was to go around the beer halls of Munich and identify troublemakers, you might say. And of course, he in one of the places he went to, the German Workers' Party, he was taken by what their ideas were. And he stood up and said his piece. And lo and behold, everybody shocked and paid attention. Suddenly said, "Who's this guy? He could talk so well." Uh, he joined that party after a short time. He became the leader of that party, and he changed the name to the what we know as the Nazi Party. So that's how he became involved, because it was natural. All the things that we're talking about were what he believed, were his personal ideology.
It's really quite interesting to see that relationship grow from him just being there to observe and highlight people into him growing that party and centering around himself.